Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has seen an absolutely insane last 24 to 48 hours, dropping all the way from $104 to $91,000. We're going to dive into the charts today to talk about the recent correction and what it means, and a potential repeat of December 2023, as well as the possibility for a Christmas correction, how to watch out for it, and where it might take us. Before we get into all that though, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday and Saturday. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram channel, and if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so diving into the charts here on a 4-hour time frame, let's have a chat about the recent 24 to 48 hours. If you guys missed that price action, honestly, count your blessings because it was insanely brutal. So we had a crash here from 104,000, the most recent established all-time high, all the way down to 90,800, right? And this latter end of the drop from 96 to 90,000, that happened within 60 seconds, within a 1-minute candle that took us down nearly 6%. As you guys can imagine, liquidations were absolutely through the roof. Over $800 million in longs were liquidated in the last 24 hours, making the largest spike in long liquidations in the last 6-month period. This is larger than the spike that we saw on the 5th of August when Bitcoin retraced all the way back down to $49,000, right? Absolutely insane. Now, following that drop, we did actually bounce quite quickly, so the actual 4-hour candle close continued to validate our overarching high time frame uptrend over here. But as you guys can see, we've actually quite struggled to really establish some strength moving past that drop. We've, clearly bounced here, but the high time frame charts here, we're still printing these lower highs, and the price action is honestly a little bit volatile and a little bit confusing right now. So we're going to dive into the analysis and talk about something we don't usually talk about on the channel, a fractal, because it is the best form analysis that I have for this current piece of price action, and then talk about the higher time frame charts and the possibility of a Christmas correction, what that might mean, where Bitcoin's going to retrace to, key levels to look out for, and when that Christmas correction becomes genuinely concerning. So let's dive into it. Before we get into the rest of the video, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BTC. We can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards when you create your free account using the link down in my description box. BTC is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. So a fractal, if you guys don't know what exactly that is essentially a repetition of a chart pattern or a pattern of behavior on the charts, right? For example, one of the most infamous fractals that we talk about, or that we talk about the most on this channel, is the dead cat bounce level of resistance that happens every single cycle, right? When we enter a bear market, have some sort of dead cat bounce, and then following that, we continue on in that bear market, and then later on, post accumulation, when we sort of enter, or attempt to enter a bull market again, and the conditions become sort of ripe for that again, the first thing we need to do is break above that prior dead cat bounce level of resistance before Bitcoin can enter a, an actual bull market, right? And that is an example of a fractal. It's a very high time frame one, and it's a cyclical one, happens every 4 years, but it is an example of that fractal. So what I'm talking about right now is sort of similar, right? So we're applying a previous level or a previous exhibition of similar behavior that happened at a very similar time frame, and applying that to this chart because it is overall very, very choppy, and this is a great way to sort of understand what is happening. So last December in 2023, we had this period of price action over here, right? And it's already looking very, very similar. So we had a period of consolidation against a horizontal level of resistance, right? That was 44,000 back then. We had a horizontal sort of channel over here, right? This base level of support at 40K or 41K. And against that level of horizontal support, we had this sort of, uptrend developing, leading to the creation of an ascending triangle structure over here, right? And this little segment over here probably looks really, really familiar to you guys because that is that sort of stage in this little segment of price action that we are experiencing right now, right? So we've just had this rally to 104,000, right? Period of short time frame consolidation, a loss of short time frame support there, a crash back below the breakout validation point for that triangle, and then a crash right back down into that lower level of horizontal support here at $40,000, right? 40 to 41,000. And then if we take a look at the price action following that, we can see that Bitcoin went on to rally after that, right? So once recovering above that horizontal level of resistance once again and establishing it as a base of support moving forward, Bitcoin then went on to create one last high before entering a downtrending period. Now we'll talk about that next segment here, this sort of downtrending period, in a moment. Let's quickly just focus on this segment over here. So if we apply that analysis over to our current place in the timeline, it is looking very, very similar, right? It's happening honestly a lot quicker than that prior chart, and that's just how it happens sometimes. That's perfectly fine. So we had a period of horizontal consolidation against a level of horizontal resistance. We had a developing uptrend against horizontal support, and what do we do in this crash? After 104, we went back down to retest that horizontal level of support at $91,000, right? That is exactly what we did in December 2023. Now, following that, we have recovered once again quite quickly above that horizontal level at 99,000 over here. And then following that, we are currently sort of retesting that level once again as a base of support. If we zoom in a little bit into the 15-minute chart, for example, we can see that retest happening right here, right? So essentially what that fractal tells us, or that price segment of price action tells us, is that while Bitcoin maintains this level of support here at 99,600, we can expect a high probability for that pattern to play out and a move back above this short time frame downtrend and above the prior high here at $104,000. If we want to try and take a look at what that next move might look like, if we take a look at the price segment of price action and apply the measured move of that original ascending triangle. Sorry, let me just fix that up. So the move of the ascending triangle, the original ascending triangle, would have taken Bitcoin to about 48,600. So we surpassed that just slightly in that secondary rally there. We went to 48,900. So over here in our current timeline, what we can expect is, in establishing support and holding support here, the original measured move of our ascending triangle structure that should have taken us to $108,000 should play out over here, right? Potentially surpassing that just slightly, maybe going to 108.5, for example. But that is sort of that key target, 107.5 to $108,000. Of course, there are shorter time frame levels of resistance to make sure you're watching out for. We have the structural resistance of our short time frame downtrend, as well as the prior high at 101.9, and the actual level of resistance here at $103.6 thousand with buy side liquidity at 104. So clearing above resistance, that's good. Clearing above 104, that's the trigger level for that extended bullish move to 108. If we lose that level of support, it's likely then that Bitcoin goes on to retrace these little lower levels of support we have just below that. So starting off with 97.6 and this low over here at $95,000, right? The prior level of support that took us through a small segment of horizontal consolidation over here. And then of course that has perfect confluence with our high time frame uptrend as well. So a loss of 95K will likely then trigger a loss of our weekly, or sorry, not weekly, monthly at this point uptrend. Now that brings us perfectly into the topic of a potential Christmas correction and why I think that could be a possibility and what to really look out for in warning for that correction and where those levels are going to be. So historically speaking, December has never really been the most amazing month for cryptocurrency. Take a look at last December, as we just saw from that fractal, right? It was a period of pretty much sideways to downwards price action. In 2022, we had just sort of ended that period of consolidation following the FTX crash. So that was very, very sideways price action. 21, it was downtrending as we just entered the bear market. And in 2020, it was bullish, but that's with the exception of the fact that we were just breaking above the dead cat bounce level of resistance. So no matter what month it was, it would have been a bullish one, right? So December is pretty unpredictable and generally quite hit and miss. If we take a look at S&P 500 as well, once again, we can see for the last 3 years, it has been generally quite sideways to downtrending, once again, with the exception of 2020. Now, if we take a look at this current December period, we're not particularly entering the month with the most amount of strength either. So while we're in the uptrend, sure, the trend is different until it ends, and we can't really be expecting any sort of massive continuation downwards, particularly on the short time frame. We're expecting that move to 108 as long as we hold support, right? But what we can also see alongside that uptrend is this downtrend on the RSI that we've been developing over the last monthly period. We've got 2 instances of bearish divergence over here. The first one being between 93 and 99, and then once again at 99 to $104,000. So in this secondary rally that we're expecting on the short time frame, that move to 108, if we don't manage to break out of the downtrend created by the most recent instance of bearish divergence, it is very likely then that Bitcoin prints another instance of bearish divergence as we continue to see decreasing bullish momentum and buying pressure as the price overextends to yet another high. Once again, that is going to cause a correction. Now, that correction should take Bitcoin to, first of all, obviously retrace support at $99,000. In losing that, then we have our uptrend, which is a really, really crucial level for us to hold then as it maps out the trend line of the recent month of price action. And below that, we have $90,000, the base of that horizontal period of consolidation, which we most recently tested in that crash on Friday. Was it Thursday? Was it Friday? On Thursday. So 91,000, this level of support, and our structural uptrend are the 2 really crucial levels here. If we fall below 91, we're going to expect a continued bearish move into the next available level of support at 87 and 85. Now, if we take a look at that prior fractal over here, in December 2023, we saw a very similar thing. We had 2 instances of bearish divergence moving into that rally here at $45,000. And in failing to break above that downtrend in the rally here to 48,000, that secondary rally, we remained, sorry, let me pull up the RSI. We remained below that downtrend over here, failing to break above that. We had another correction, and that correction took Bitcoin to fall below the previously established horizontal level of support at the base of the horizontal channel, right? The equivalent of our 91,000. And we saw a correction to retest the next available level of support at $38,000. And then finally, in breaking above that short time frame downtrend, sorry guys, we finally saw a flip of 44,000 for the long term, and we continue to establish a very high time frame bullish trajectory. So that really easily and really simply maps out what we need to see here. So breaking above the uptrend, we can expect continued bullish movements above this horizontal level of support, right? So that extends us potentially above $108,000 as well. And then continuing to reject off that uptrend, we have these levels of really key support to be looking out for: 99, our structural uptrend, and at $91,000, and beyond that 85. So very, very big segment of price action coming up. I would very, very much like to see this RSI downtrend finally broken. We are in a bull market after all, so if that trend line is going to be broken throughout any sort of December in the last couple of years, it should be this one. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get 15% off all of your trading fees. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!